Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the Red and Dread podcast. Today, we're diving deep into ritual sacrifice. Not just the ancient stuff, but the modern rites we live and breathe.
Oh yeah, bro, for real. It's hard to get away from human sacrifice, especially in the United States, right? Country formed by Christians. No matter how you look at it, that is human sacrifice. I mean, it's for willing
Yeah,
human
very much so.
sacrifice. But like that willing human sacrifice is that's a constant throughout history. You know, the Celts, the Meso, like almost all Mesoamerican culture is based on voluntary human sacrifice and almost exclusively of the best people, the most beautiful children, the healthiest
That
children,
part.
the strongest, most virile men, the women with the biggest butts. Why? Because they want more people to be graced by God to have that. Like you
That
can't
is,
sacrifice a kid in a wheelchair. He's been suffering all his life. Do you want more people to be suffering, or do you want the idea of beauty and strength to be with more children? And
that's good. It's a good point. You're sacrificing your best and brightest to try to obtain more of that.
yeah, yeah. And
So, like,
I hate to tie it
no,
in.
go ahead.
I hate to tie it in with our last episode, but that's exactly what I see on Love Island.
I mean, yeah, yeah, I could see how it ties right into that.
I mean, maybe
I
not
mean,
the best and brightest, but
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 very,
you are sacrificing your dignity to a bit, to a degree.
yeah. You
I see it.
sacrificing your
Go on,
dignity, probably some of your mental health, and that's I mean, there's a lot to be said for sacrificing your mental health. Like a lot of people I know in that have been in the military, that's one of the ways that they talk about it. It's like, I made this sacrifice so that, you know, I mean, it's usually so that their family can eat, let's be real. But I do know
yeah,
some people that were like, no, I made this sacrifice so like people around me could be safe. But it's like, what was the sacrifice? I mean, like, not everybody saw war. You know, the sacrifice was you pulling out your hair, doing a night shift to make sure like nobody snuck out of the barracks. Which, hey, I
right.
mean, but like, it just leaves you with this mental trauma. And I'm not saying they should kill themselves, by the way. I'm not saying it should be more. You don't need to die as a sacrifice, right? The
Correct. Yeah,
Chinese the Chinese and the Jewish culture has this whole idea of sacrifice where it's you know substituting something else to take your sins on. And that's also exactly Christianity, but very specifically the Chinese and Judaism. It's some of their most extensive practice. The Jews with the chicken, and they swing it above their head and kill it, and their sins for the year are gone until next year, well, until they sin again, but hopefully they can, live a pious life for as long as they can, and then, they start writing down the sins that are the next chicken is going to have, and they just, work their hardest to not sin until they can be cleansed again. Which,
Yeah.
hey,
So, so it's like the sacrifice is to appease either appease like a god or gods, or to try to like ensure something.
yeah,
It would like seem like, it's all, and like that has, it's transactional. It's like a transaction almost that's happening.
yeah, very much so. I think especially the sacrifices that were like the Aztecs classic, right? You sacrifice human hearts to keep the sun rising. I mean,
Right.
it's
So the sun
very
would come out. That's
one for one. And like that's a pretty big deal. Like there that is very transactional.
yeah.
But what
That's like
what
the key word, in
yeah, definitely.
in it all. Transaction or transactional, and you
But
give something and you're hoping for a return.
yes, yes. Rain,
Yeah,
another
rain was a big one, like rain for your crops. Or even, like in ancient times, warding off disaster.
yeah.
Um, was like way, at least like in anthropology, yeah, warding off disaster, harvest, bringing rain, or just, staying in the good graces of the gods, at that time.
Yeah. So and that gets us into this idea. Well, what happens when it's not like directly understandable, right? Especially with Judaism, Christianity, those forms of human sacrifice. It is a more like eternal life, and not in this realm. Is very incorporeal. Like
Yeah,
you can't see that. People don't understand. People don't understand it, but it does fill. I mean, it fills some of the most. I mean, between those two religions, like that is a huge portion of the world, right?
yeah,
And like, I mean, you could throw Islam in there as well. It's a little different, but like pretty much the same idea of like,
right, right.
you know, you sacrifice now and your soul will be rewarded.
Yeah, in the future, you're setting up your soul to be, yeah, like forever safe, essentially.
But what if there was a new what if there was a new God? And I'm not saying for like it's a new religion even. I mean, we could maybe we want maybe we could think of it like that, and maybe like we should think of it like that, but I don't think we're there yet. But
So
what
you
if,
mean like maybe like a god in the way of like something else to like appease to, or like
yeah, what
to,
if the collective online consciousness of humanity has formed a god in the sense of we sacrifice someone to expand the algorithm, or maybe not even expand the algorithm, maybe to just make the algorithm spike. Maybe the algorithm spiking is rain for the people that are so connected through the internet. Like
So it's almost like now we like rough example. So like say we sacrifice our mornings to say Instagram to ensure visibility or relevancy or like
exactly,
or that
exact
type of thing.
that's perfect. Or maybe it's even just you sacrifice, you know, 10 minutes of your own time to Instagram so that you know that you'll be able to see butts later. You're sitting on the toilet swiping through bikini pics and you're like, well, I know I'm going to be able to see more butts later because I looked at them now, and the algorithm will know that I looked at them now and show me more.
Okay, yeah, yeah. It's almost like you said, setting yourself up for a future um benefit or return.
Yeah.
I get you.
And
I get you. Yeah.
and like obviously that's like extremely small scale, right?
Right.
Extremely small scale. With some more extreme versions looking at like, I mean, we're old, and I'm sure some of these people, I don't know. There's lots of people that don't know what BME Pain Olympics were.
Oh
You
man.
know,
Yeah.
like here are real people, almost exclusively white males,
Hmm.
mutilating themselves for attention online. Now it's not attention from a girl that could kiss them. It's not attention from their parents. It's, self castration for, I don't know. How many people do you think have seen Pain Olympics?
Probably like I would say, they got a following for sure.
Yeah. So I mean, let's
So
let's let's go like let's go crazy, right? Let's say a million new people hear about it a year, right?
damn.
So it's been, I don't know, what is that? Probably like 25 something years. Now, let's just say 25 million people have gained just a little bit of joy or disgust or like entertainment. Let's just go with entertainment.
Okay.
One person self castrating has led to 25 million people having entertainment. Now, if that's not sacrifice, and let's be willing self sacrifice. I mean, I don't know what is, but is that the direction we've gone with human sacrifice?
Because you know what so if you're doing that, it's like what is the return that they are seeking? Like is it the attention? Is it I don't know. Some
Or is
type
it
of prestige that goes with that? Is there a type of prestige that goes with that? It's like
is there prestige in being a spike in the algorithm's storyline?
I would I would say yes to that because and that's what's kind of sort of creepy about the whole thing in a way, at least to me, is like like you said, the algorithm is like a god and it requires daily offerings. I feel like it's daily.
Yeah,
It's, people posting every day, like, for example, a TikTok creator is like, oh, you see messages, sorry, I haven't posted in the last like 48 hours. It's like, well, you're not a hostage.
yeah.
Or maybe you are. Maybe you are. I don't know. You know what I
Well,
mean? Like, it's like,
okay, yeah, good point. Like, because I know there are people out there that like if they don't stream, like they don't eat, you know, and
no, no,
like
for sure, for sure.
at the end of the day, those people are apologizing to themselves. I'm sorry, I didn't stream for 2 days. Now I can't eat. Oh, that's
So that's like, so they sacrificed, time there. And like,
yeah,
it's, I could see that. But generally, I feel like most people that say that, I feel like they're probably not in that position. A lot of people, it's more of a speaking to their like following or their or that the algorithm god.
yeah,
They're almost apologizing to the algorithm god for not posting and being a spike or creating a spike in the daily flow of things.
yeah. And I mean, most people aren't going to be a spike, right? Most people are just a ripple. Everything that they do is going to be a ripple. But enough ripples make a wave, right? And
Right.
if someone feels like they need to be part of that wave, I can understand why you would say sorry. Uh,
Yeah.
not,
I mean, because like if you think of like like we sacrifice like time, privacy, even like originality to
mm,
stay or to stay as that spike or in like pursuit of being that spike on the for the algorithm. But the crazy thing is like at least in ancient times, like the gods that they like sacrificed to, they had like identities, even if they were like mythical or like made up, hypothetical, whatever. Um, but the internet is like faceless, it's nameless, it's just a program, it's programmed.
yeah,
So it's very interesting how that has, because I agree with you that it does like, it is very much like a god today that is like offered and sacrificed to. But it's just interesting how it came to be, without like the internet doesn't have a face or anything like that you can reference or anything like that. So it's very, I
yeah.
don't
I
know.
mean,
I
it's
don't,
it's
it's weird to see what people are really looking for. Like, what are they really looking for by doing that? Like, is it just like the dopamine hit to your brain when you get like likes and comments? I don't know. I don't know what
yeah.
it is.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
Do you remember? Uh, it was a phrase. I don't remember when it was, or maybe I do, and I'm purposely not telling you. But the phrase was broke the blank blank broke the internet. Now, if your goal is to quote unquote break the internet, are you trying to subvert the god that is, the collective algorithm? Are you trying to become a god yourself? Something that people want you to give them attention instead of the algorithm? Like is
That's good. That's a pretty good question. I would say that if I guess maybe you're like if someone when they say like oh they broke the internet, I guess it is almost like maybe them trying to reach that level of like where they're the main focus, or are you just or are they just like that much more of like a sacrifice or an offering, like a bigger um
That's
like
okay.
stronger, more in depth, you know?
Perfect. Perfect. So the only thing I can think of that was like really displayed and uh really trying to coin the term, oh, I broke the internet, was Kim Kardashian's ass. That it
Oh,
was,
okay. Broke the internet.
yeah. And to be fair, complete failure. Complete failure. At the time, I wasn't on Instagram, still not. Guess what? Completely missed me. There was a whole world of the internet that couldn't have cared. So obviously the spike was not enough to break the internet. The algorithm the algorithm just kept being the algorithm. So I think what you said is exactly. Oh no, she's just a really big sacrifice. She's just the belladonna that we're throwing into the volcano.
Yes. Yes. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's the modern version of throwing the goat into the volcano. But now, you know, her ass was the goat.
Yeah.
it's a horrible analogy, but yeah, basically that's what was going on. And just speaking further, that's how I feel about like hustle culture and people just grinding themselves into the to the bone because that's what they say like we're supposed to do. And,
Oh,
it's
expand on that, please.
well, I feel very much like hustle culture is the same thing. Like throwing, it's the modern version of throwing a goat into the volcano or an animal. Those type of sacrifices. Only now, like the person is the goat. Um, they say like, oh, like sleep is weakness and boundaries are
Oh,
failure, and you should be working harder, longer, louder. It's like
interesting.
sacrifice, but they frame it as like you being ambitious, but that's not what it is. They frame it that way, but you're sacrificing like your identity to, climb like this hypothetical ladder that we leads to what?
Yeah. I
In
mean,
my opinion, like
I I really, hustle culture is really hard for me to really comprehend. I've 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 watched lots of videos of, from people like you got to sell cars, take off your shirt. Are you jacked? Why aren't you jacked and selling cars? You're not
literally,
hustling enough.
literally.
It is there a way to do that hustle culture in a way that it's not a form of self-sacrifice in a way that's destructive? Because like obviously sacrifice is a constant thing. We're talking about it in the sense of like overdoing it.
Yeah, extremes. We're definitely talking
Yeah.
extremes because I mean, sacrifice. You do have to sacrifice certain things like I could definitely acknowledge that, like, to get where you want to be, because there's just not enough time in the day to do everything you want and touch on everything, unfortunately. So yeah, you're gonna have to sacrifice your time a little bit and dedicate it where you want to. You kind of ration it out where you see fit. But like you said, where it takes a step into being too far is like, you just grinding yourself until you disappear. It's like you're spiritually bankrupting yourself, but you're you're either saying, or you've been tricked into like thinking it's for like your legacy that you're leaving behind. But I think the proper way to do it is, you take breaks when you feel like you need to take a break. You don't ignore that, um, within reason. But if you feel like you need a break, you take a break. If you need a mental break, you take the mental break, because like you're not going to continue on in your best form. So you're better off pausing and regrouping, instead of, if you continually sacrifice over like a long period of time, like you won't have anything left to sacrifice in the end, is the way I see it. So the correct way to do it, in my opinion, is to, it's gradual. You got to be, and this is just speaking to like hustle culture and grinding and stuff. You have to understand that it's going to take work, but you have to be patient enough to know when to slow down and take a break if you need to, and not sacrifice your way to the top, I guess, or to the goal. Like, you can't sacrifice too much to get to the goal. You need to sacrifice correctly, I would say, to get to that goal, not just blindly.
Okay. Okay. As you were talking, I one of the most positive hustle culture people that I've ever come across is Nipsey Hussle. I mean, it's in the
The
name.
goal,
I mean,
the
yeah.
goal. I mean,
Do you,
right?
yeah. Do you
More
think
money in. I mean, I got it tatted. That's how much I believe in that. That
exactly?
is,
Exactly. But like, I think he's also an example of someone that you know took time to rest and take care of himself.
yeah, that is, his philosophy on that is huge. I'm a big like believer and follower in like that same type of philosophy. And that's what his brand and slogan like speaks to, like TMC, the marathon continues. It's a marathon. It's not a race. It's not a sprint. You take it at your own pace. But as long
Hmm.
as you're like progressing and continuing on, you're on your way. Every time you do something, no matter how small, you're further than you were before you did that one little thing, no matter how big or small. So yeah, that's like a perfect example, like you said, of it. The way to do it right too.
Okay, so that being said, because I agree, I think Nipsey Hussle is a wonderful example for people to follow. You know,
Yeah, true that. Yes, sir.
great. I don't know the best way to put it, but I always looked at it as like walking up a mountain in a spiral. You know,
Yeah. He
and
says that in one of his songs, like, I've been fighting battles up a steep hill. So he
yeah.
creates really good analogies, visuals, in your head.
Hmm. Do you think that one of the reasons that people felt like they could and wanted to kill him was his semi disregard for the algorithm god as a whole? You know, like he wasn't every day, or even every month, you know, in the out in in the algorithm like someone like 50 Cent, for example.
Yeah,
Like
I could agree with that.
Like he wasn't out
Yeah, I had a
here.
good way of disconnecting.
Exactly. Do you think that there is this among not all people, but these people that buy into this algorithm as like something that they want to be consumed by, or even recognized by, see people that remove themselves from the algorithm as shameful, or uh what's another good way to put it, blasphemous almost, and we can.
Um, I could I could say that. Like if you so you're saying like if they didn't want to be a part of it or just weren't like through their behavior, like yeah, they weren't always online or posting or trying to make some, out there in the spotlight trying to be that spike, for example, in the algorithm. I could see how they could be viewed as like an outsider or even like you said blasphemous to some degree, especially if they come from something or somewhere that's very common, like a group, and then they try to, you start venturing off on your own, and maybe you're less like involved. Then yeah, I could see how, it's almost like another form of cancel culture, like anyway.
Mm. So do you feel like, because I mean, I've watched people be removed from the algorithm, you know? Do you think that's, I mean, it ruins some people's lives,
Oh
you
yeah,
know? Like, but do you think that is because they have bought into this almost godlike view of the algorithm, that they need to be attached to it?
yeah, I would say yes because it's been built up that way. It's been made to like seem, not even seem, it's been made like it creates like an illusion of life, so people are very.
That's yeah, that's a great way to put it. An illusion of life.
And yeah, it's like an illusion of life, and people are so, because let's be honest, a lot of things on Instagram, or not just Instagram, like any like social media is like, you know, you've seen where people like post on a private jet. It turns out it was fake. It was like a studio or something. So people are constantly trying to portray that things are better than they are in their life, or that they're living a certain type of life. And people are like desperate to be a part of that.
Can I blow your mind real quick?
Yeah, hit me,
What if I told you that there is a book called The Illusion of Life?
bro. What?
Bro, what if I
Wait,
told
no.
you what if I told you that it is the Bible of Disney animation?
What?
Like that
No way. I gotta see this book.
so it's called The Illusion of Life, and like this it when you said it, bro, it's like my mind was like, no, I I I know that phrase. Where do I know that phrase?
Damn.
It
So,
is
it very much like an illusion of life. And I think, to some degree, you can't blame people for wanting to be a part of it. Like, it's not like shocking to me. It's just, I think more
right.
shocking is the lengths that people are willing to go to stay or be a part of it. Like, it's just too much. Like, um,
Yeah.
no matter what it is, like people flip flop on their values just to stay like relevant and like, get that celebrity type worship, if you will.
Yeah.
Even getting into like cancel culture, like we build like celebrities up like, idols, gods, larger than life figures, right? And then if they do something, I mean, don't get me wrong, if they do something blatantly wrong, that's horrible. But a lot of times, like if they, something comes up from like years ago, we sacrifice that publicly, painfully, um,
Hey, you know what?
sometimes permanently.
Jonathan Majors.
Yes,
I
perfect
think
example.
perfect example. He didn't. Hey, truthfully, I
Dude
never
got a bad rap.
got a bad rap, and like I never
And
really
how fast
even.
people switched up on him. How fast, like, well, the industry, if you will, not. I don't know about like individual people, but I
I mean,
was I was shocked. I was like, damn.
and it turns out like from my understanding, he wasn't he wasn't a bad dude. He
Nah,
was
he's not. It
he was,
wasn't what she said it was. Like they had
but
some issues, but it wasn't what you know she said it was. But the accusations did the damage.
right.
Like,
And oh, bro, I got so distracted. Where were we right before this? I said
so I was talking about like how we build up celebrities, and then the moment they mess
yes,
up, like we sacrifice them like so quickly, like they become sacrifices, like, and we do it
right.
publicly. All kinds of people commenting on it, and
It, exactly. I
agreeing with like things that are being said.
Yes, Jonathan Majors was this, you know, black man sacrificed so that white America could feel good about themselves.
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna lie, I do not follow. I up until 2 days ago, I couldn't pick him out of a lineup. I'm not good with faces as it is.
Oh, this I
Definitely,
know about you.
bro. Bro, thank you for having a unique look because it's really, really saved my life.
Yeah. You explained this to me when we first met. Like that is one of the like first 10 things you said to me. Like, hey, I'm not good with faces. Like, I'm not good with names.
Bro, but
Don't
for
be
real,
asking me to remember like who's who. None of that. I don't do that.
I try. I mean, I do try.
Hey, you remembered my name, so I mean, that's all I
Yo,
was
but
concerned
hey,
with.
that was on you though. You, you made me laugh. So, that you gotta set certain flags. Certain people get flags because they deserve them. And everybody's brain works a little differently. I don't think I've ever seen a movie that Jonathan Majors was in. I'm sure
Yeah.
I'd like him, but I never got to. Never got around to it. Do I watch a lot of movies? No, but like I you know
See,
I
and that speaks more to what you were saying too. Just the fact you haven't seen him in a lot of movies. You saw how fast, like, here's a guy that was in the public light, like the positive public light, if you will, and how fast, like, somebody saying one thing and like bringing a lawsuit to you for it can essentially like flip your whole career. You know what I mean? Like, can
yeah,
instantly, like, everyone basically turn their back. All your sponsorships and door contracts you had, all that shit's out the window.
right. And I think like I do think cancel culture is one of the versions of human sacrifice of this algorithm god, right?
Agreed.
Because
100%.
like if we think about everything's as like waves and like large spikes that build waves, if somebody has a spike that people can't handle, they don't know what to do, right? You know, same with like Megan the Stallion, right? She had that WAP song. People couldn't comprehend why that was flowing through their algorithm. And they're like, "No. Like this isn't the God that I love. This isn't the algorithm love that I should be receiving." But it is. You know, it is cuz you don't have a choice. We have built this algorithm God that is overwhelming because we're just humans. You know, we're only humans, and this algorithm God is eating us alive in the sense of like 47-year-old white women getting flashes of Megan the Stallion's ass in their face when they scroll through Instagram for like 3 months. They're like,
Yeah.
can't cancel her. She's a slut. It's like, yeah, but like,
So it's it's like their offerings.
right.
Like like we put it's like we put their head on metaphorical spikes and say like we're still good people. See, like or
Yes.
like trying to you get what I'm touching on, like trying to prove
Oh, yeah.
by you know canceling or like shunning certain like types of people to try to stay.
Yeah.
It really is all like their offerings, and we use them to like you use them in different situations to say like, see, I'm still a good person.
Exactly. Exactly. All the while trying to have a spike themselves. They do want to be the spike. They're posting, them doing some goofy dance on TikTok. They're posting, you know, walking down the street yelling about how like some barista messed up their name. I mean, and it's not just jealousy, right? It's not just jealousy because that just jealousy just is another chance for them to like spike.
Right.
You can have this jealous moment and go, man, she sucks. I don't like what she's wearing. It's like, well, okay, like that's cool, but like here you are just trying to ride the algorithm yourself. You're saying something you know that's shocking to other people. I don't know.
Right.
I definitely think it's like the dark. Like there is a negative side of Christianity. There is a negative side to Islam. There is this negative side to Judaism and Mesoamerican religions that don't even necessarily exist anymore because they had so much dark, bad juju or whatever you want to call it. And truthfully, I think the algorithm religion could collapse if it was all cancel culture.
I mean, yeah, it wouldn't last because eventually it would cancel itself out. I feel like on some degree, it would like turn in on itself.
I mean, that would be like AI shutting itself off, wouldn't it?
Yeah, to a large degree, it would be. It would be like the same thing.
What do you think? What do you think would lead to a huge amount of people shutting off their connection to the algorithm?
That's tough. That's a tough question to answer because I'm like, I honestly don't.
We know it's not war.
Right. It's definitely not that. Um,
I mean, we had Ukrainian women doing a cycle class as Kiev was getting bombed.
right? Like at the same time.
Yeah.
I would, I think the only real way to get people to really disconnect from the algorithm god would be to, I wouldn't say like destroy, you'd have to destroy the algorithm god. I would say there'd have to be a better alternative. Like real life would have to be more appealing. And not that it isn't now or shouldn't be, but I'm just saying like, the fact of the matter is like people sacrifice their real lives for like a curated one. So, you know, if if people's real lives could just seem or be whatever in whatever way like more attractive to them, that would be a good way to disconnect from the algorithm. That would be a way to, because everyone's just so into, like you could be happy and then you could look at something on Instagram and all of a sudden you're like, oh dang, I need to like do more because like this person has that, instead of like you were just happy with your life in the moment like 5 minutes ago. And all of a sudden like you see something online and now you're, it takes your brain like to a whole nother place. So you it people need to just find more value in their real life. That would be, I think that's why most people are online. Like people that are online a lot, like they're looking for something, whether they know what it is or they even know they're looking for something, they are. Like,
Okay.
you know,
So like like
it,
true meaning, like
yeah, like you'd stop worshiping beauty so much and like all these very like seemingly shallow things, because like you sacrifice your like spiritual peace by doing it. And it's almost like going back to our first episode, like how it's creates like a false sense of reality too. Like it's like if they say you tell a lie long enough, like you start to believe it because
hey,
like you said it so much. So it's like if you're just constantly sacrificing yourself to the algorithm or joining in on the sacrificing of other like things or people,
yeah,
like
it's
in
almost like
association with the algorithm.
yeah, it's almost like these people are trying to create like a Garden of Eden. They're trying to
Yeah,
like
that's a good way to put it.
they're trying to create a paradise through the algorithm and within it, because it's not like they're living their best life when it's not the cameras aren't on, you know?
Right. Exactly.
I mean, I'm sure there are people that are living their best life when the cameras are on or not on. I I'm sure, but I am also sure that those people are not what is being like propelled through the algorithm. Like I'm sure I can find a video on YouTube of a dude right now, sitting, smoking a joint, talking shit to himself. And you know what? If that camera wasn't on, he'd still be doing it. You know,
Yeah.
it just, like this. I mean, not to toot our own horn, but we talked for an hour
Why not?
before this.
Why not? Yeah,
I'm
a
not.
lot of people don't know that we had a whole session before this session. You guys don't even know how deep it goes, but
Yeah, but
um,
we enjoy just like we enjoy talking, and sometimes we turn on the camera. You know.
that part.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's here's the question I kind of keep coming back to. Like, if we're doing all this sacrificing to the algorithm, God, but who is nameless, faceless, who's really collecting like the offerings though?
Yeah.
Like,
Who are the high priests?
yeah, like who are you?
I
Like,
mean,
are we feeding systems that don't love us? Are we offering, are people offering themselves to an algorithm God that doesn't exist? Like, does but doesn't. Like, it's been made up to exist, but it really doesn't exist.
yeah. Like,
And would the real sacrifice be choosing to stop?
I mean, I, no, because your life goes on, right?
Right.
So it's not like, you know, it's not a true sacrifice. There's nothing that the algorithm can give you at the moment that is, beyond some coin here and there.
Mhm.
And like, I mean, that's no different from a job. No one's saying that like your job should be your religion. I mean, hey, some
Yeah,
people,
that'd be crazy.
I'm talking. Actually, you know what? That's exactly kind of the hustle culture, you know. But that's
Right.
that's that's also toxic. So you know,
So it's, getting back to your question about like getting people, it's mostly about people would like to disconnect from this like algorithm and like just the way that it's so integrated in everyday life. Like, it would take, it starts, people just would have to say no. They would have to be willing to rest and protect like their peace, I guess you could say, or their idea of it, because there's such a it everything online just looks really good. So I feel like it's just easy for people to fall into the habits of like following suit of what they see, whether it's like, accurate or not. So loosely
mm,
use the word like accurate or like, like, well, that's not really how it works. Yeah, but it looks, so people, they'll sacrifice their time, whether it's worth it or not, to feel and look like what the algorithm God says is successful or should be making me happy.
yeah, I think Mark Zuckerberg might be one of the high priests.
He may be the high priest.
But like, and as you were saying that, like, because he kind of stipulates what goes, you know,
Yeah, largely.
and that's very like priest behavior, you know, in a bad way. Like I
Oh yeah.
oh, bro, I'm not gonna fucking sleep tonight. I'm
You're like, I already know.
my brain is spinning, you know? My brain is spinning. And like YouTube has this whole like algorithm that it tells you about, right? You
Yeah.
know, but I mean there's more to it, of course. And its algorithm directly ties into TikTok's algorithm because you can cross post. And TikTok's
Yeah.
algorithm, so it's almost like you have this greater religion and then these, you know, just like with all religions, you have, Lutherans and Catholics and
Mhm.
Baptists, Gnostics. I don't know where Gnostics would be on the internet, but like in that algorithm, they're kind of a more like we are our own god like type thing. So maybe they're not actually part of the algorithm, but I don't know. Ooh, I'm
That's a
down
good
a
point.
down a rabbit hole, bro.
I feel it. I feel it. That's a really good point. Like, are we? I feel like collectively we're giving so much of our lives away to the quote unquote algorithm god. Like people spend so much time looking online and trying to portray what they see that you're not really living. You're actually like
Yeah,
you're missing out. Trying to be part of this sacrifice, this grand scale sacrifice.
yeah. I would.
Because how many people are on the internet like consistent and like addicted to it and social media apps, being online.
Yeah. What do you think? Like, do you remember like going on the internet for just like fun?
I I in all honesty, the last like going on the internet or for like a form of entertainment. I mean, even though you get on like Instagram and stuff like that, it is like a form of entertainment to a degree. But honestly, like not since I was a kid. And
Yeah,
I'm
like
talking about like dial up, like not
yeah,
what we have now. Nothing like what we have now. I'm talking about dial up.
like fucking
You
e
remember the sounds
bombs,
of it dialing? Yeah, literally.
e bombs. No, it's so and that might just be us, by the way. Like I feel like knowing what you're seeking out is against the algorithm.
Yes.
You
I feel
know
like that's where like doom scrolling comes in. Like you're not
exactly.
even really looking at anything. You're just it's like this desperation to still be part of it. Like you're gonna miss something or you're gonna not be able to relate to, I don't know, the larger groups opinions and or like sacrifices or decisions and cancel culture type, like people are like, oh, did you see this? And then like if someone asks you, oh, did you see the video of such and such and this and that? And if you say no, chances are you're pulling out your phone to like look at it immediately.
Yeah.
And that kind of speaks to like that desperation to be a part of the grand scheme sacrifice. Like everyone's just so desperate. It doesn't matter. They'll sacrifice their time to be online and like I said, doom scrolling. You're not looking at anything. You're not even reading like the words that are going across the screen. You're just literally blowing through like all this like information and content. To satisfy what? No idea. Only thing you can say is you're for sure sacrificing your time when you do that. And like, what's the point of it? Like, most sacrifices have like a point, like we spoke about earlier. Like, you're trying to be someone, the gods, or you're trying to ward off some type of disaster, or you need some type of return, like you need it to rain so your crops can grow and stuff. But I mean, those were legitimate, or like the intentions of them were more legitimate than like now it's more like blind sacrifices and blind offerings, just to
Mm,
blend in with the crowd versus making a real sacrifice for something you actually need, which is why you make the sacrifice in the first place, because it's something you need. Because why
yeah,
else would you be willing to sacrifice, like, if you're any logical person?
yeah, definitely. And you know what? I think that this is a perfect moment. Like if you're still listening, take the moment to be for yourself. You know, get off,
I,
shut off this podcast, be in the moment.
I mean, really though, what are you sacrificing right now? What are you
Yeah,
sacrificing right now? And is it worth it? Like, think about it. Is it worth it? Could your time be, better applied somewhere else? Like, what is the sacrifice for? Is it just to do it because everyone else is doing it? That doesn't really, make sense.
yeah,
So think about that. What are you sacrificing right now? Is it worth it? Let us know in the comments. Are you bleeding for a blessing, or are you just bleeding out? Period.